Welcome to the AI for Career Success video overview by Curt Robbins. We're experts at AI coaching and helping professionals like you and your employees upskill in AI.
Today, we are analyzing an article by Michael Andrews from StoryNeedle, published on January 19, 2026, titled Reusing Ever-Changing Content in the AI Era. Our discussion will cover several key areas. We'll start with the long-standing DRY principle in content management. Then, we'll examine how AI is disrupting that model. After that, we'll explore the newfound value of legacy content, introduce a new paradigm called repeat with variation, and finally, we'll discuss the need to rethink our approach to content models entirely.
All right, let's begin by examining a foundational concept. For decades, the best practice in content management has been guided by a rule known as single sourcing. This is called the DRY principle, which is an acronym for Don't Repeat Yourself. The core idea is quite logical. You should have one and only one canonical source for any given piece of information. This way, when an update is needed, you only have to change it in that single location, and the change propagates everywhere that content is used. The primary goals here are, of course, consistency and efficiency.
However, as Michael Andrews points out, there's a significant gap between the ideal and the reality of this approach. In practice, implementing a true single-source system requires a rigorous and often expensive technical infrastructure. It can be difficult to maintain, and perhaps most importantly, it's inherently rigid. It forces the exact same text into every context, which often isn't appropriate, and it operates on the fragile assumption that we can accurately predict all future uses for that content.
This is precisely where the disruption is happening. The emergence of large language models, or LLMs, is fundamentally challenging this long-held convention.
The shift is truly fundamental. You can think of traditional content models as mechanisms that bind content. They lock it into a rigid structure to enforce consistency. LLMs, by contrast, make content elastic. They are inherently adaptable, capable of making sweeping changes, and critically, they can comprehend and manipulate unstructured content, which is something traditional models simply cannot do.
Andrews captures this dichotomy perfectly with this statement. The old models were about constraint and control. LLMs are about adaptation and transformation. This core difference is what unlocks a vast new range of possibilities for how we manage and utilize our content.
So, given this new elasticity, what does this imply for our existing content archives? All the articles, blog posts, and reports that were once considered dated. Suddenly, what might have looked like a digital landfill now appears to be a highly valuable asset.
In his article, Andrews presents a powerful analogy, the circular economy. The traditional content lifecycle was linear. We create something, we publish it, we use it for a time, and then it's effectively disposed of. The new model that AI enables is circular. Our content can be revived and repurposed repeatedly, generating new value each time it re-enters the cycle.
Andrews then details several specific pathways for applying this circular model to content. We can simply share it for broader use. We can repair it, for instance, by having an AI update outdated statistics or information. We can recycle components of it into entirely new pieces. We can remanufacture it for a different audience or format. Or we can even regenerate it, breaking it down to its fundamental ideas to construct something new.
This shift leads us directly to a new operational paradigm for content reuse, one built specifically to leverage the capabilities of AI.
The essential question then is this: if the old rule of don't repeat yourself is becoming obsolete, what should replace it? What is the guiding principle for content reuse in an AI-driven world?
Andrews proposes a new principle: repeat yourself, but with variation. The strategy is no longer about avoiding repetition, but about intelligently managing it. You take your proven, high-performing content and use AI to adapt it with meaningful variations for new contexts, different audiences, or updated formats. This isn't just copying, it's about adding new layers of value.
Andrews points to the news organization Axios as a prime example of this methodology in practice. They don't simply report the latest news. They add valuable context through variations like a catch-up quick section that summarizes the backstory, or a flashback that recalls similar past events. This is exactly the kind of sophisticated, value-added variation that an LLM could generate from a content archive almost instantly.
So this raises a critical question about the future of traditional, structured content models. It's important to note that they are not becoming obsolete, but their role is contracting and becoming far more specialized.
Content models are shifting away from being comprehensive authoring frameworks and are becoming much more focused, tactical tools. Their new primary function is to store the non-negotiable, critical variables that an LLM needs to perform its generation tasks. The focus is shifting from controlling the authoring process to controlling the final output by structuring only what absolutely must remain invariant, like specific data or legal text.
So, what qualifies for this new, much shorter list of elements that still require structure? According to Andrews, it includes things like data variables, prices, names, dates. It includes fixed phrasing, such as legally mandated wording that cannot be altered. It also includes templated boilerplate content and combinational elements that must be assembled according to specific rules. Almost everything else can now be treated as elastic.
This entire evolution of content strategy compels us to pose a final, crucial question to any organization. With the power of AI to repurpose and revitalize past work, is your content archive a digital landfill, or is it a gold mine waiting to be discovered? Thank you for watching. This is where we teach you AI and help you get smarter than your competition. If you like these videos, use the QR code at the beginning of this video to buy us a coffee or hire us to coach you or your employees in AI. We encourage you to subscribe to the AI for Career Success YouTube channel. Please also like, comment, and share this video to help us reach a wider audience.